9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you may happen to be at this particular moment. Welcome to the Davis Star Experience. Good afternoon, good evening. This is Davis Star, and you are tuned in to the Davis Star Experience. And today, I am coming to you with something a little different. Oftentimes I go on CNN and I go to different news sites and I listen to different audio clippings of podcasts and things of that nature. And a lot of times I see things that, kind of stress. It's like a stressor for me. I see a lot of black on black crime stories that dominate the news. And it's not just in Philadelphia where I'm from. This is all over the country. This is all over the U.S. There's things going on all over the country that, everyone seems to want to complain about, but I'm not really hearing too many solutions to these problems. I'm not hearing ways we can stop a lot of this black on black crime, a lot of this teen violence, a lot of these gun related incidents. I mean, I hear people offer up complaints and, the noise and the violence and the losing of the children and losing of the property and gang wars and things of that nature. I hear all of that. But what I'm struggling to understand is, where are these solutions that everyone has been screaming about since forever, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of when I can remember seeing these news stories on the TV, my mother having me watch TV to teach me that this is the road you don't want to travel down because it leads to the grave or prison. Where are the solutions? And so one day I sat and I thought about it. I'm like, man, I could think of a few ideas that could help alleviate and really stop a lot of this mess that's going on here. So I'm gonna help offer up my suggestions as to what we can do to combat the gun violence in America. These aren't regular solutions. These aren't regular ideas. These are ways to help to impact the youth. Ways to help. And I'm mainly directing this towards the youth because our young people are going to jail sooner and sooner. When I was coming up, you would hear about guys in their 20s and 30s going to jail for gun-related crimes. But now you're hearing kids going to jail as young as 13, 14, being trialed in adult court for crimes that, we never dreamed of doing as 13-year-olds. We were dreaming about playing basketball, becoming doctors, lawyers, physicians, race car drivers, and things of that nature. We were dreaming of other things, business owners, repairmen, mechanics. We weren't dreaming of toting guns at 12 years old. We weren't dreaming of having gang shootouts at 13, 14 years old. We weren't dreaming of that. Our parents put the fear of God in us. At least in my generation. I can't speak for anyone else. But for me, my mother put the fear of God in me that I better not even look at a gun, let alone pick one up and point it at somebody like I'm going to do harm to them. But one thing that I've learned in the course of my 37 years of life is that in order to bring a solution, you must first understand the problem. It's the same thing with math. In order to have the solution, you have to first have the problem. You got to solve the problem to get to the solution. 1 + 1 is 2. 5 + 5 is 10. You got to have a solution to the problem. But in order to have the solution, to come up with the answer, you must first understand the question. You must first understand the problem. So I'm going to play a few news articles, and then I'm going to come back with my understanding of them, and then I'm going to bring solutions.
New video this morning shows a wild shootout last month in the Morrisania section of the Bronx. It happened at 9:45 p.m. on September 16th. Police say that two groups of men faced off on East 169th Street and opened fire. Although multiple rounds were exchanged, there were no reports of any injuries. Police are hoping this video will help lead them to the shooters.
A deadly day across the city of Philadelphia. 3 fatal shootings now under investigation. Police believe they are unrelated, but in each incident, a life was lost. The most recent killing along a residential street in Winfield earlier this evening. Friday night, and the big story on Action News is breaking news. The sound of gunshots punctuate the peacefulness of a neighborhood terrifying residents. A man shot and killed along the 2200 block of Bryn Mawr Avenue in Winfield. Action News reporter Brianna Smith is live at the scene now with the latest on the police investigation. Brianna.
Rick, Philadelphia police shut down this section of Bryn Mawr Avenue for about 2 hours tonight to collect evidence and try to determine what led up to this deadly shooting. Meanwhile, we spoke to residents who live in the Dane apartments right across the way, and they were shocked to see so much police activity right outside their home.
So I was waking up from a nap and I just heard bop, 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 bop.
Diego Rodriguez lives in the Dane apartments on Bryn Mawr Avenue in Winfield. At first, he thought the loud noise was fireworks and far away, but he quickly found out there was a shooting right outside his window.
I've been here a year, I hadn't heard gunshots before, so it was pretty scary.
Philadelphia police responded to the 2200 block of Bryn Mawr Avenue around 7:40 Friday night. They say a 31-year-old man was shot in the thigh, arm, and chest. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead about 20 minutes later. Detectives placed at least 15 evidence markers on the ground as they processed the scene.
I mean, I was just kind of scared. I was about to go down into the gym and I realized that the windows of the gym were shot out. And so, I could have been there when it happened. And so, yeah, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, and you can see right now someone is working on that window after the glass was shattered after a bullet went through it. Now, police say no weapons have been recovered at this time and no arrests have been made. But if you have any information about this shooting, contact police. Live in Winfield, Brianna Smith, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, Brianna, thank you. 2 other men are dead following 2 separate shootings that injured several people, including teenagers. The triple shooting happened just before 5:30 here on the 5400 block of Chester Avenue in the King Sessing neighborhood. A 20-year-old man died. A 33-year-old and a 15-year-old were both injured. Nearly an hour earlier, 2 people were shot inside of a home on the 2300 block of East Herald Street in Kensington. A 20-year-old died and a 19-year-old shot in the leg. In both shootings, police have yet to recover any weapons or make any arrests.
2 young children, 1 and 7 years old, remain hospitalized here in the intensive care unit at Comer Children's Hospital. They are among 11 victims who were at a family gathering when gunfire erupted Saturday night. The pictures are chilling. 3 people casually walked to the corner of 52nd and Damon. They are carrying guns. In moments, they all open fire down the street. They fire nearly 20 shots, all apparently in the direction of a family gathering next to a house several hundred feet down the street. One shot shatters the window of a car parked on the street. Another hits a house. Bullets also strike 11 people at the party, including 9-year-old Ariana Molina, who later died. One of the final gunshots hits a street light, darkening the area. 5 minutes later, an ambulance arrives at the scene. Several more emergency vehicles would arrive shortly afterward. It has been a heartbreaking time for relatives who were having a family celebration when the gunfire broke out. The video suggests the shooters were not in a vehicle but simply walked up. Among the other victims, 1-year-old Aaron and 7-year-old Isaiah Vigil Mendez were shot and critically injured.
I didn't know if they were going to survive or they were going to be gone forever. That was the worst time of my life.
Also among the injured, 36-year-old Ishmael Benitez, who remains hospitalized in critical condition. In front of the house where the family gathered Saturday, they continue to add to the huge memorial with balloons, flowers, and pictures, even as several of the victims continue to recover in hospitals. Monica Mendez is hoping police find the 3 people seen in this video very soon.
They need to be where they deserve to be, in prison for the rest of their lives for what they did to Ariana and what they did to my kids what they did to everybody else that got wounded.
Chicago police say they're continuing their investigation. So far, no one is in custody. They're encouraging any witnesses or anyone with information to come forward.
Now we have developing news out of Ohio. 4 people wounded during a shooting at a Walmart near Dayton.
It happened around 8:30 last night in the town of Beaver Creek. Police say the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Right now, the condition of the victims is unknown, and not a lot of other information is available at this time, including the identity of the suspect or motive. But of course, we will pass that on once we get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you've seen the amount of violence that's going on. It's not just a Philly thing. It's not a New York thing. It's not a Chicago thing. It's not a Mississippi thing. It's not an Oregon thing. It's not an Ohio thing. It's not a Cali thing. This is a nationwide problem that we have in this country where people have the access to firearms. You know, one of the things that really troubles me is that with the amount of access that we have, I mean, we as far as like people, that we have to firearms now, anybody can get a gun. You can go to Walmart and get a gun. You can go to your local pawn shop and get a gun. And I'm not going to get into this whole thing about federal background checks and this, that, and the third. I'm not talking about that because that's beyond my pay grade. I'm talking about right now what we can do as a people to fix this. And I don't want to make myself sound like I'm racially racially divided, or, you know, like I'm trying to separate white, black, or anything like that. I'm really not. But this is a very heavily majority black problem. This is a very, very serious issue within our community. This is a very serious issue in the black community. And I was reading on some statistics earlier where we lead almost every category when it comes to crime in this country towards each other. You don't believe me? Watch this.
After 72 people were shot in one weekend in the city of Chicago, that city's mayor is calling for everyone there to work together.
And Jenna, that violent weekend is also shining a spotlight on another issue. And it's an issue some don't talk about. Who is killing these black victims? Not whites, not the police, but other blacks.
Look at that smile. He ready for school. KG Wilson bears a heavy cross, literally.
And this cross is about 400 pounds.
And figuratively.
Sometimes I feel alone. Sometimes I feel alone.
Alone, responding to a silent call for help. KG's past is embedded in Chicago's present. This weekend, 72 people were shot and at least 13 were killed. KG's heart is heavy.
The violence here and the violence in back home in Chicago. My mission has been for 15 years now is the focus on us. And when I mean people of color, it's something that is kept a secret. And many times it's connected to stop snitching.
Snitches get stitches.
Yes. Yes. And the ones that don't get snitched on continue to hurt and kill and terrify and destroy our community.
No arrests have been made in any of Chicago's weekend incidents. 15 years ago, Wilson and his son, now peace activists, escaped Chicago's violence. They moved to Minneapolis.
I just left everything there and jumped on the first bus and came here with no place to go or nothing. It was about saving my son's life.
Tanisha Taylor Bell is about saving lives, too.
I can't save every young person in the city. I wish I could. It was the city that raised me, a city that I love, a city that also took my father's life. He was shot as well by teenagers there, ages 15, 19, and 21, when I was just 5 years old.
Bell says teens like the ones who killed her father were the inspiration behind a scholarship foundation bearing her dad's name.
We provide scholarships, mentorships, and life skills seminars to young men who are middle class sometimes fall through the gaps. You know, they may be the C student, and oftentimes they don't have opportunities or resources to them.
Mentoring addresses the topic some ignore.
You don't see these killings in mass numbers like this in other races. You know, how can we expect someone else to respect us if we don't respect ourselves? So the black on black crime that is plaguing not only Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, so many cities across the nation, but you have to start at home. You have to take care of home. You know, you have to make sure that our young people respect our race.
From her office in Atlanta to street corners in Minneapolis, both Bell and Wilson, Chicago natives, are doing their part.
If I have to stand by myself in front of a firing squad, I'm going to be that one who let the youth in the community know that this is right. We can't be quiet about it anymore.
According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting data for 2016, 90.1% of black victims of homicide were killed by other blacks. But the story doesn't stop there. 83.5% of whites were killed by other whites. Some will argue this data shows this is a truth across racial boundaries. Tanisha, who you just heard from in this story, worked as an executive producer for CNN for 13 years, and she simply said it was haunting her as she would write those stories about gun violence in Chicago.
And it seems to be a problem that is just not going away, because we see holiday weekend reports out of Chicago, 60, 70, 80. It's unfathomable, and my heart breaks, but it certainly goes out to those people who are doing the work on.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Black on black crime, black on black killing. And to further compound that point, I posted something up here where it talks about black males and black victims aside from white victims. We must hate each other so deeply that we're willing to kill each other within a finger snap just because somebody stepped on your shoes or somebody dissed your clique or dissed your gang or dissed your family or whatever. We lead every metric when it comes to black on black crime for various age ranges. And that made me think about something. It's a gentleman by the name of Kevin Gates. For those that don't know, he's a hip-hop artist. He's a rapper. And basically, he made a comment. He went on a show called The Breakfast Club. And he talked about how people were so outraged with him because he said he didn't support Black Lives Matter. And it wasn't because of what you might think. He didn't support Black Lives Matter. And what he said made so much sense. This man said he didn't support Black Lives Matter because why would I support something where we don't even support each other? We killing each other, we dogging each other, we robbing each other, we raping our women, we killing our kids, we killing our brothers. We hate each other with a deep-seated hatred to where we don't see that this is a problem. And that's why he said he don't support Black Lives Matter. And you know what? I understand it. I get it. I totally get why he does not support Black Lives Matter. And before someone says, oh, you don't support Black Lives Matter either. No, don't get it twisted. That's still a problem in this country. Cops killing black people. That's still a problem. But we ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about why we're killing each other. Why do we hate each other? Why do I, as a black man, hate you as a black man, knowing that our ancestors come from the same struggle? Our mothers came up together. Our grandmothers were raised in the same generation. Our great-grandmothers were raised in the same generation. Our great-great-great-grandmothers were raised in slavery. Our great-great-grandmothers were mistreated and raped and beaten and killed because they were black. They were killed because they were black queens. All they wanted to do was make a living for their families, and they were killed for it. Beaten with whips, held together with chains, snatched off the continent, and brought here in America. We just overlook all that and it's like, oh yeah, I don't like you. Pop, you gone. His family gotta miss him. Your family gonna miss you because eventually they're gonna catch you and they're gonna throw you in prison. And we're not even gonna go into the prison reform system, that's another conversation for another day. But right now, we're talking about black on black crime. We're talking about what we can do to stop this mess, to try to curb it, because people are going to commit crimes. I'm convinced of that. I'm not naive enough to believe that we can ever really stop what's going on here. Because, when one generation's gone, another one's born, and in some cases, that one turns out worse than the previous. And it's becoming true to form. Because when I came up, yeah, we fought, but guess what? If another race would have come in our neighborhood trying that foolishness, we'd be banding together ready to roll out on them. Now, because you come from another neighborhood, you're more than likely to get shot because they don't know you. Chicago, Philly, Boston, San Antonio, Louisville, everywhere in this country, we killing each other for no reason. And that's a problem. That's an issue. And we need to be prepared to do something about it. It is 2024, and Philadelphia had one of the highest murder rates that has ever been recorded in history. I'm not sure about the statistics for Chicago. I'm not sure about the statistics for New York, but I can only go off of what I see in front of me. And what I saw in front of me last year was police shootings, gang shootings, stabbings, robberies. I wish I had the compilation of numbers for the amount of crimes that occurred from during and involving black people. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now, but I can only go off of what I see and what I saw, and we are trending towards internal extinction. They always talk about how the dinosaurs went extinct because of a meteor or whatever. We are making each other extinct. We are going to make ourselves extinct if we don't stop this foolishness that's going on. As a black man, I love my fellow brothers. I love my fellow sisters. I would never raise my hand to a brother or sister like that. I would never do that. We got to get to the point where we protect each other, because clearly no other race is going to do it. No other race is going to protect us like we should. And clearly no one cares. No one cares. It's to the point where the first 10 minutes of the news in your local market, New York, Philly, Boston, Chicago, Florida, Miami, Pittsburgh, every single market, the first 10 minutes more than likely has a report on gang violence, black on black crime, things of that nature. It's all there. It's all there. And I think it's time, high time, that this stops. We gotta stop this. And I think now is the time to start coming up with some solutions. Because clearly we've analyzed the problem. We have analyzed the problem in the community. We done had protests. We done had rallies. We done had demonstrations. We done everything I can possibly think of that you can do to bring awareness to it. Here's a newsflash, people. The people in Congress don't give a damn. The people in your upper political market, your political spectrum, your legislators, your governors, they don't give a shit. They don't care. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? Because clearly the people we put in office don't care about us in the inner cities, in the rural communities. They don't care. So I'm going to make a call right here, right now. Black men, it's time to center this thing. So here's my thing. Where these brothers at? See, a lot of the problem in these inner cities, a lot of the problem that I've noticed over the last like 6-7 years, you got a lot of these old heads. We refer to them as OGs. We got a lot of these people that they want to brag about the things that they did back in the day. They talk about how they used to walk and people would be scared of them. How people wouldn't try them and test them because they was gangster and they was a part of this clique and that clique. And they grew up in the 80s and they grew up in the 70s and they grew up in the 60s where things weren't allowed to happen without they say so, and things weren't allowed to go down without their approval, and all this other malarkey you can put together. If you was in that life, cool, I get it. But the problem I have is now we got people who are in this life, and it's like I'm not saying that same enthusiasm to get these kids off the damn streets. I'm going to say something that's going to make some people angry, but where you niggas at? Where these old heads at? Where are these dudes that swear they about the streets and they was about the streets, but now when it comes to the youth, oh, they ain't none of my business. They ain't my problem. If we want to be honest and have an honest conversation, yeah, you're part of the reason why they out there. Because little do you know, OGs, old heads, they look up to y'all. They looked up to y'all. When y'all was out there talking about all the stuff you did, y'all making these young people think that it's cool. Like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm going to be out here in the streets hustling. I'm going to carry a gun. I'm going to do all this and that. No. I said, you know what? It's time for a different approach. Instead of approaching these youth and trying to convince them as squares, as they like to call us, the ones that weren't involved in the street life, instead of approaching us and trying to get us to talk to these kids and going to schools, why don't you old heads go up there and talk to these kids, talk to the youth? Why don't we do that? Why don't we stand up and call some of you old heads out that like to brag so much about the shit you did in the street? Why don't we call y'all out and hold some of y'all accountable for some of the foolishness that's going on right now? Why don't we take that approach? Because one thing that I understand is that OGs carry a lot of weight in these neighborhoods, in these communities. OGs carry a lot of weight, a lot of respect. They command respect. When an OG calls you out and asks you for something, it's like a term of endearment for you to give respect to the OGs, to the older statesmen of these neighborhoods. But I don't see a whole lot of them stepping up to step in the way of these kids and try to steer them in the right direction. Now, I'm just going to preface this by saying this. If you are one of those people that are doing it, I applaud you. I stand up and salute you because we need more brothers like you. We need more men like you to step up and help to steer these kids in the right direction because clearly they ain't got none. They don't have a direction. They don't have a clue where they come from and where the hell they're going. So now, what do? I tell you what we do. I tell you what we can do. I can make a suggestion. Like I said, let's start with the OGs. Let's start with these gentlemen who are in their 50s and 60s that used to rip and run the streets when they was younger. And they still talking about bragging about how they love that life. How when I came up, we did this, we did that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So where you at now? Mr. Street dude, Mr. OG, Mr. Old Head, the one that you expect us to give you respect. The one that you expect when somebody mentions your name, they better put respect on it because of what you did back in them days. Well, guess what? We calling you back in the service. Aki, old head. We calling you back in the service. It's time for you to step up and help to save these damn kids. that, truth be told, some of y'all helped put them on the damn streets anyway. I don't want to rant, but damn it, I'm pissed. I am so sick of hearing about these old guys that run around here bragging about what they did and stepping up and saying, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I was out there. Yeah, we was out here grinding. We was out here doing this. Won't nobody come step up to us. Well, guess what, buddy? The generation behind you looked up to you. The generation behind you took their cue from you. And now that they're out there doing the same crap y'all used to do, now y'all don't want nothing to do with it. Oh, that ain't my problem. No, buddy. This is all y'all problem. This is everybody's problem now. You're not exempt from responsibility, sir. You are not exempt from responsibility, ma'am. Because I know a couple sisters is gangsters too. What we gonna do? How are you gonna help to step up and help these youth? I'm gonna tell you how. The same way it was when I came up. It's time to get up in these schools. It's time to get up in these after-school programs. It's time to get up in these libraries, these rec centers. It's time to get up in every place that you know these kids can congregate. It's time to step up and stand out there and approach these youth and call them out. What's going on, youngin'? What's up, young bull? What we doing out here today? What's going on? The same way you want people to respect you and fear you for what you used to be like, you need to have that same energy for these kids today because they don't give a damn about what we got to say. So maybe if you old heads will step up, since they seem to get y'all respect, maybe it's time for y'all to step up and put that to the test. Get out here and get in these young people's world and tell them, look, this ain't where you want to be. This ain't where you need to be. I'm sorry, but it's time for y'all to pay y'all debts. Now, I'm off the old heads. I'm off the OGs. Now, another thing that I think needs to be focused on, needs to be addressed. I know there's a budget issue, budget crisis, whatever, with a lot of government programs, with a lot of these libraries. These libraries is closing. Rec centers can't afford to really stay open like that. Something's got to be done. I don't care if you got to go to your local form of government, mayor's office, whatever, and bang on the door until somebody answers. We got to get these places open and get people there that'll help with initiatives to keep these kids out the streets. Because the problem is you got a lot of kids that don't have anything to do. Some of these communities, it's like they don't have nothing for the kids. They got all type of shopping centers and malls and fashion districts and everything possible for the economy where they can make as much money as possible. But they done neglected the kids and what they supposed to do. You know, I never thought in a million years I would ever see the day where 20, 30 kids running down Center City, Philadelphia at 9 o'clock at night. I said it in my last video, but I have to go back to it because I never thought that was possible, that I would ever live the day to see that. When I was coming up, we was in the house when the lights came on. Now it's like a lot of these kids, they don't go in the house until the lights turn off the next day. That's a problem. Parents. Now I'm going to get on y'all. Parents. Some of you parents got your priorities jacked up. And I'm going to put it where it is. I'm going to shoot straight. I'm aiming right for you parents. Some of you dads, shame on you. Some of you dads put y'all kids in this situation and didn't even realize it and didn't even know it. Some of you mothers put your sons in these situations and didn't even know it or was too ignorant to realize what you was doing. You're glorifying a lifestyle. You're hanging with people that's glorifying that gang life that extravagant, money chasing life. You're happy, you're spending money, you're happy and all that. But guess what? Little do you know, you got a little gangster sitting in your living room, sitting in your kitchen, sitting in their room, plotting on who they gonna rob because they think, oh yeah, the only way out is to rob and steal and kill. But y'all could have been showing them a better way. I salute the parents whose kids is out there selling dollar bottles of water on 100-degree days out in the street. Because them kids, I'd rather them kids be out there on the street selling waters than to be up and running up in somebody's house, robbing you, breaking into your cars. Parents, let's get our houses in order. Let's check these phones. Let's bust up in these rooms, check under beds, check dresser drawers, check closets. What's the problem here? We want to give our kids all kinds of privacy, but guess what? All that privacy in the world ain't going to mean nothing when they facing a 25-year jail sentence because they done got caught with a gun that you ain't know about. That was in your house. A lot of these parents have put themselves and their kids in very, very bad positions because they're not paying attention to what's going on in the home. You're so busy worried about your little career. You're so busy worried about your little boyfriend. Guess what? While you worried about all that, your kid's looking at life, ma'am. Your son's looking at life, sir, because he don't know how to put down the guns and put his freaking hands up. Which leads me to these rec centers. I'm pretty sure that there is money that can be used to fund these rec centers. These rec centers it's like the one that I grew up in, Shepherd Rec Center. They were open every day during the summer, and I mean every day. Basketball court was always open to us. There was a boxing gym downstairs that was always open for us. We had supervision. We had chaperones. We had people that were there. People from the neighborhood would come and volunteer to lend their time, lend their experience. We had guys that would be in that gym downstairs, in that boxing gym. Little did we know, some of them were future world champions, and we ain't even know it. I got a chance to meet Bernard Hopkins one day doing community service. And when I tell you that's the most down-home, honest, one of the most righteous brothers I ever met. First words out his mouth when we met, he had me put his hand up to his. And he was like, dude, you got some big hands. You play ball? I was like, no, I used to. He was like, man, you better get back to playing ball. He's like, man, you better watch out. Stay out them streets. If you ain't in them streets, stay out of the streets. You ain't got no business being out there. And I took that advice and I went on to, have my own little career driving tractor trailers. And I never forgot about that little meeting I had with him when we was all outside picking up trash. And he came up and, shook our hands and talked to us and really schooled us about what you could be and what the end result could be if you don't straighten your life up. I'm grateful for that. I appreciate that. And by chance, if Bernard Hopkins is listening, brother, thank you. But we got to get these rec centers up and operational if they're not. You got a lot of property. This is the part that angers me too. We got so many abandoned properties in some of these cities. Why can't we get government grants from somebody in the city to rehab these buildings and turn them into something for the kids? We don't, and this is why I say the government don't care about us, because they'll put a shopping mall or a shopping center in there or a co-op or whatever in that little abandoned property. But if you say put a rec center there, oh yeah, they're throwing up red flags. They want to put all type of red tape. They want to fight you. They want to argue. All zoning permits and all this and that. But when they need a shopping center there, they get that shit done right quick. It'll take them 6 months to get a lease, get the zoning permits, get everything, get zoned, get businesses, everybody moving in. 6 months from that time, everything's built, fast track, done. You got a business open. But if it's a rec center or something for the kids, it'll be at least a year before that shit even sees a permit. That's a problem. That's an issue. That's an issue. I'm not understanding that at all either, but here we go. Rec centers, abandoned buildings. We need to get with these politicians. We need to get with our local governments, the legislators, House of Representatives, whoever your local insert name here, local whatever, legislator, I forget what they call them, legislative district, whatever, state representative. Get with your state representatives. It's time to go to these people and demand that we do something with these properties, with these buildings, these houses. Some of these people, some of these kids, a lot of these kids need an outlet. I know a kid that I grew up with. When I tell you this boy had hands, nobody wanted to fight him because he had hands like they were gifted from God himself. I mean, this young man could throw hands like I've never seen. And when I tell you, if he would have had an opportunity to succeed in life using his hands, he'd be a billionaire by now. He'd be Floyd Mayweather rich. But no one ever took him down to the rec center and said, yo, I'm going to school you real quick so you could do something with your hands. That boy was in the streets. In the streets. Just didn't want to do right. I think about some of these kids that have an opportunity to do something great, shooting a basketball. I remember we had on the corner of my street, we used to put up the little crates, the little milk crates, cut the bottom out from under them, and we would play ball. And we had a no dunking rule because as soon as you would dunk, it would mess it up. But we was out there playing ball, and we had guys out there using crates. These guys was out there sinking these baskets, man. I mean, sinking them. Unfortunately, some of them kids didn't make it to C21. Some of them didn't make it to C25. Some of them didn't make it to see their kids be born. And it's sad. Some of these kids don't have the opportunity to do something constructive and productive with their lives. And it's sickening because we as a people should be out there fighting and advocating for them. But then you have the ones that say, oh, that's their parents' job. Yes, it's their parents' job, but it's also up to us because, to be fair, parents can't watch their kids 24/7. Parents got to get up and make a living. Parents got to get up and do their jobs, do their 9 to 5s. That's where the community needs to step up. We got a community full of advocates, lawyers, doctors, people of influence, people of power. And we so damn gullible, we just turn around and turn a blind eye and just be like, it's not my business. It's all of our business. These are the future generations that are ahead of us. This generation is damned if we don't step up and step in. And I mean all of us. Community, the word community is a word that used to mean something. Now, all due respect, the word community don't mean shit no more. Everybody's so quick to mind their damn business, they don't want to be a part of it. Well, guess what? While we're not being a part of it, our kids are dying. Our kids are killing each other. Our kids are going to prison. Our kids are dead. That's got to change. And if it doesn't change, we're screwed. We are screwed. We got an election coming up soon. And if we don't put the right vote for the right person, a criminal is going to end up in the White House. And you know what that means for us? We're screwed. With that being said, those are just some of the solutions. Those are some of the things that I just think about that we could do to curb some of the violence. We got to be proactive. We got to be proactive when it comes to our children, to our community. I just thought of something too. I remember hearing stories about some of these boxing gyms that will host these little boxing matches where if you had a beef in the community, or if you had two people that didn't like each other and they were always fighting, always into it. I remember specifically a story about the West Philly rec center I grew up under. And there were a couple kids that had a problem with each other. Always fighting, always in the streets. And the guy that ran the gym basically said, look, y'all want to fight so bad? Y'all come in the basement. I'll even go to y'all parents if it need be and be like, look, they want to box it out. These kids always having a problem. I'll open my gym to them. They go in here. We can put the gloves on. We can put helmets on. Let them go in there, box it out. At the end of it, you shake hands. That's it. Go on about your business. Don't you think it's about time we bring that back? Don't you think it's about time if they're going to fight, they're going to fight, but at least they'll do it in a safe environment. They'll be able to get their aggression out, throw them hands instead of throwing bullets, and get the aggression out, get whatever they got to get settled, shake hands, walk away, you live to fight another day. Why can't we bring that back? I saw something in one of these communities also where instead of shooting at each other with bullets and guns, these dudes were using paintballs. And there were people that were getting so upset about it. Like, I want to say it was maybe even in Chicago. I got a friend of mine who's probably going to correct me if I'm wrong, but I hope that, she does. If I'm incorrect, I stand corrected. But they were using paintball guns instead of real guns. And I was like, hey, look, I'd rather wipe paintball paint off my car than to take a bullet out of my house or have to go to the hospital because I got a bullet in my leg because some idiot don't know how to aim. And there were people getting upset about it. I'm like, why? Would you rather them shoot paintballs? They're paintballs. Yeah, they hurt if they hit you in the face, but I'd rather that than a bullet. There are things that we are so concerned about that we don't need to be putting that much stock in. There are things in this world that are more important. There are things in this world that need to be dealt with. And it's sad because we have to really face the facts. And the fact of the matter is that we are in trouble. Black people, we are in deep, deep trouble. Our kids are in a world of trouble. We as black parents are in trouble. We're losing our kids. We're losing this battle to keep our kids safe, to keep the youth safe. I showed you the statistics. I showed you the data. I showed you the news stories. Every day, some poor mother's having to cry because some officer just came to her door and told her that her only boy is dead, that her children have been killed, caught in the crossfire over some bullshit. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to come to and say, you know what? I'm going to put a stop to this. I'm going to stand up and fight against this crap. When it comes to our kids, it's like we send them off to school and say, job's done. I remember a show called Boston Public, and Loretta Devine was one of the lead characters on the show, and she talked about this very subject, how kids was acting up in school, how, they were having some type of meeting, and she stood up and was like, guess what? You send your kids off to school and think, oh, well, job's done. It's on the teachers now. The teachers play a pivotal role, but it's not their job to save your damn children. That is your job. It's my job. Black mothers, black fathers. I'll even go here. Black cousins, Black uncles, black men, step the hell up. Stop standing on the sidelines and step up. Some of you brothers got some heavy influence when it comes to these youth out here. There are some youth out here, some young people that wouldn't dare cross y'all, and you know it. And instead of using that power and influence to tell these kids to stop this foolishness, y'all just want to just, nephew be all right. No, nephew will not be all right. Nephew's going to be dead in 10 years if you don't step up and stop whining. Nephew's going to be dead in about 10 years if you don't step up and help him and tell him to stop this foolishness and stop this madness that they done got into. You see him hanging out with people that are in gangs? Do something. Say something. It's time to stop being so scared and stop being so worried. And it's time to actually step up and put ourselves on the front line to save our youth. Because if we don't, it's over. If we don't step up and make a conscious effort to save our children, guess what, y'all? Another news flash. No one in the government's going to step up and save them. They actually make money behind filling our prisons. Do y'all not understand that? The prison system makes so much money. You know what happens every time one of us gets locked up? When a black person gets locked up, you know what they don't say, oh man, it's a shame they came to jail. Now we got to feed them and do all this and that. You know what they say when they come into jails? Cha-ching, got them. That's money that they just made off of the backs of black people because we killing each other, committing crimes, and we out there terrorizing folk. They don't care. They are happy when someone gets locked up because they make money off of us, black people. We go to prison, we go to jail. It's money. It's free labor. Why do you think there are so many prisons in America right now? And they're building them more and more. Every year, there's a new prison being built. Supermaxes, regular jails, because they can't hold us. They can only hold so many people because we keep getting ourselves in jams and arrested. They just built a youth center a couple years ago, not too far from my neighborhood. And I remember people were mad about it. They were mad about it. Why do we need a youth center in our neighborhood? Guess what? Because nobody's stepping up to stop these youth from doing what they're doing. So now they're building a facility to hold them, to put them in. What are we doing, America? What are we doing? Let's get our priorities straight. Let's get these kids back in line. Get these kids in order. Let's stop promoting all this death and destruction. Let's get these kids some direction. Let's put them in programs. There's no reason that I can think of that your young man, your son, your daughter is not in a program during the summer when they get out of school. When I was coming up, my mother made sure that I was in some sort of program. I was either going to the library, I was either going to a school, I was going to the rec center. I was doing something during the summer to keep me out of the streets. Because she knew that if I stayed in them streets, it'd be a problem. She kept me from being out there all the time. My summer was so full, every day I had somewhere to go. Monday, I was at a rec center. Tuesday, I was at a church thing. Wednesday, I was back at the rec center. Thursday, I was at the library. Friday, I was at the YMCA. Saturday, I was playing basketball. Sunday, I was in church, and it was the same cycle all over again. Every day during the week, during the summertime. I had free time, but the majority of it was spent at somebody's building doing something productive. We were at the library helping to plant trees, and reading, studying. I was at the church participating in programs. I was at the rec center playing ball. I was at the POW League doing playing foosball during the summer. So there was somebody to keep an eye on me. I was at HLO, Haddington Leadership Organization. I was there helping the older people to get groceries and do the summer program they had there, the little daycare. I was doing something where I wasn't in the streets every day. When are we going to wake up and stop this foolishness? Let's get these kids straightened out. Let's straighten ourselves out, because we're not getting any help from the government. We're not. We're not getting any help from the government. We're not getting any help from Congress. We're not getting any help from our state legislatures. We got to do it ourselves. But that's all I got to say. I hope everyone is having a good evening. Like, share this video. I'm not being monetized for this video. I'm not making a dime from this video. There's a new YouTube channel I got. I just want to bring awareness and bring to light some of the things that I see and address and discuss some things that people just don't want to talk about. I just want to put it out there that we got a problem. And in order to fix that problem, we got to get down to the nitty gritty. We got to get down to how we're going to solve it. We all know that the youth is a problem. But my question is, what are you going to do to help to fix it? What are you going to do to help to save some of these kids? Really quick, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, for watching my last video where I asked what's going on in America. I would just want to thank everybody that saw that video. My new subscribers, I appreciate you subscribing to my channel, the David Starr Experience. I appreciate all of you. And I have one person to thank. And I know she's going to get tired of me doing this, but I owe her the biggest debt of gratitude. I really do. And her name is Cynthia Rose. She is an awesome, awesome, awesome sister. Dear friend of mine. Been following her for quite a number of years now. And it was really her confidence in me as a speaker that got this whole journey started in the first place. So I can't let this video be completed without giving her her flowers. She is a wonderful, wonderful woman, spiritual, and don't get it twisted. She could drop some jewels on you if you listen hard enough. So please understand this. When y'all watching this video and you get to this part, I'm going to post a picture. I'm going to post her channel. Go give her a follow. Awesome sister. Has a lot of content that's really, really fruitful for the black community. See, we as a black community, we take in a lot of information, but is it fruitful for us? I'm not going to get spiritual and religious. That's not my department. But we got to learn the difference between what's fruitful and what's not, as far as information that we take in and as far as information that we dish out. We got to learn the difference. And this sister is a fruitful sister. She produces a lot of great content. She produces thought-provoking content. So give her a follow. You know, show the sister some love. Show the sister some love. I can't even talk. I'm just so excited about, this opportunity that we have here to really do something effective and affect change in this country. With that being said, love y'all.